Not until I died did I realize my wife wouldn't let me touch her because she deeply loved my good brother. The two loved, but couldn't have each other and kept themselves chaste for one another, while I was kept in the dark like a fool for 10 years. Reborn back at the university social mixer, I walked straight up to the white moonlight my brother had secretly loved for years. I like you. Shall we try? She froze, then gave a faint smile. Okay. This life, brothers turn against me? Then let them fall out even more completely. Ex-girlfriend collapsing? Then make her collapse even harder. The one I love hesitating? Then spoil her until she can't refuse. Last life you made me wear a green hat. This life, I'll make it so you can't even find a tune to cry with. I am dead. Terminal lung cancer. The pain makes me wish I could just die sooner. But at the very last moment, I still somehow have the strength to think. Why hasn't Chloe White come yet? Oh, right. She said she had to work overtime today. Huh. How ironic. I'm about to die, and she still cares about that lousy paycheck. I closed my eyes, but my consciousness suddenly felt light. When I opened them again, I found myself floating in midair. I've turned into a ghost. Looking down, the gaunt man on the hospital bed. Wasn't that me? At the bedside, Chloe White was bent over crying, her shoulders shaking. I felt a bit touched and thought, you have some conscience. But the next second, the hospital room door was pushed open and Noah Black rushed in. My good brother, Noah Black. The moment Chloe saw him, her tears stopped instantly, and she threw herself straight into his arms. Noah. Her voice was choked, but carried a softness I had never heard before. I no longer have to pretend in this life. I only love you. Noah held her tightly, his voice hoarse. We missed 10 years. This time, I won't let go again. Are you fucking kidding me? My soul almost ascended from anger on the spot. So I'm basically just a tool? Do I have to watch you put on a melodrama right before I die? Chloe was still whining. Ethan is gone. We can finally be together openly. Noah spoke tenderly. I'm sorry you suffered. All these years being by his side, it felt like my heart was being cut. Ugh. I floated over, wanting to strangle that pair of lovers, but my hand passed through their throats. Just then, a tremendous suction yanked me hard, and everything went black. When I opened my eyes again, I was sitting in a chair at a college social mixer. The surrounding clamor flooded my ears at once. I glanced down at my hands. Young, strong, not emaciated and bone-thin from chemotherapy. I was reborn. Ethan, what are you spacing out about? Someone nudged my arm. I turned. It's my college roommate, Leo Carter. He made a face and winked. Look over there, that one in the white dress. Noah's been staring for ages. Want to make a move first? I followed his gaze and my breath caught. Sophia Taylor. In her previous life, Noah's wife, gentle and intellectual, she was neglected by him for a lifetime. Now, she was looking down, sipping juice, her eyelashes trembling slightly, as quiet as a painting. I grinned. Noah, you like her, right? This life I'll strike first. I stared at Sophia for 3 seconds, then stood up immediately. Hey, where are you going? Leo grabbed me. The mixer just started. Why are you in such a hurry? I shrugged off his hand, stealing someone. I crossed to Sophia in 2 strides and sat down opposite her. She was looking down at her juice and nearly choked when I startled her. Ethan. She looked up at me, her eyes wide and round. I grinned broadly. Sophia Taylor, right? I like you. Shall we give a try? The noisy chatter at the mixer instantly fell silent. Sophia still had the straw of her juice between her teeth, her whole body frozen. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Noah at the next table spring up with a whoosh, his face looking worse than the day-old bread in the restaurant. You're serious? Sophia finally pulled the straw out of her mouth. More serious than getting caught cheating on a final exam. She suddenly smiled, a small dimple at the corner of her mouth. All right. Holy shit. Leo's exclamation came from behind. I turned and saw Noah's face had already gone as black as a frying pan bottom. Chloe was clutching the hem of her dress, so hard her nails were about to tear the fabric. Hell yeah. Fucking awesome. Then add an overseas social app friend? I took out my phone. Sophia was about to speak when Noah rushed over. Ethan, what do you mean? It means exactly what you see. I deliberately put my arm around Sophia's shoulders. Let me introduce her, my girlfriend. Sophia's ears instantly flushed, but she didn't pull away. Chloe followed over, her voice trembling. Ethan Johnson, are you crazy? This is only our first meeting. Isn't love at first sight allowed? I glanced at her. And you, why so worked up? Could it be? I deliberately dragged out the tone, watching her and Noah's expressions change at the same time. Don't tell me you like me too. I added cheekily. You. Chloe's face twisted with anger. Sophia suddenly tugged at my sleeve. Shall we go outside for a walk? Sure. I bumped into Noah on purpose as I stood up. Excuse me. Leaving the restaurant, Sophia suddenly stopped. Were you serious just now? Of course. I leaned toward her. But if you regret it, no regrets. She looked up at me, her eyes sparkling. You have to promise me one thing. What? Help me cover the split bill for the mixer. I forgot my wallet. I was stunned for 2 seconds, then burst into loud laughter. Deal, this is a bargain. Behind a restaurant's glass window in the distance, Noah and Chloe's faces were practically pressed against the glass. I gave him the middle finger, put my arm around Sophia, and turned to leave. First day of rebirth, perfect. On the third day after the mixer, I was gnawing on a chicken leg in the school cafeteria when Chloe suddenly slammed her tray down opposite me with a whack. Ethan Johnson, what do you mean? Her eyes were red like a rabbit's. I leisurely spat out a chicken bone. What do you mean? You obviously know Noah likes Sophia. Her voice was so shrill that the next table looked over. Why did you steal him? I wiped my mouth. Why didn't you question the cafeteria Annie when her hand trembled while serving food? Chloe was choked, and her face turned pale. What do you mean, what do I? I leaned toward her. What about you? In your last life, why did you steal my wife? Of course, I only said the second half of my head. She suddenly lowered her voice. Do you like me? Are you deliberately trying to get my attention this way? Poof! I sprayed my cola all over her skirt. Ethan Johnson! Chloe screamed and jumped up. Sorry about that, I said, holding back a laugh. You scared me. She was so angry her whole body trembled. Just you wait. She finished, turned and ran, nearly colliding with Noah, who had just entered the dining room. Noah steadied her, his gaze sliding over with a sinister edge. I raised my cola cup and made a toasting gesture toward him. Ethan! Sophia's voice suddenly came from behind. I turned and saw her carrying a tray, her brow slightly furrowed. You and Chloe. She came to ask me why I stole her best friend. I made something up offhand. Sophia sat down and said softly, Actually, Noah added me on an overseas social app yesterday. Oh, I paused with my chopsticks. What did he say? You're unreliable. And you also, she trailed off. What did you say I did? That you keep cockroaches as pets in the student dormitory. Me, you little Noah, playing dirty. Huh? Do you believe me? I asked, staring into her eyes. Sophia suddenly laughed. I checked. Your dorm was just named Hygiene Model Unit last week. Smart. I gave her a thumbs up in my mind. Just then my phone buzzed. It was a message from Leo. Quick, check the campus bulletin board. I opened it and saw Chloe had just posted a status. Some people look polished on the surface, but behind your back, they even snatched the girls their brothers like vomit. The picture attached was the shot of our confrontation in the cafeteria. The comments section had already exploded. What the hell? Who is this scumbag? Betting it's that playboy from the School of Economics and Management? At Noah Blackborough, condolences. I sneered and commented directly. Some people act innocent on the surface, but secretly have their sights on even their best friend's boyfriend. Not even 3 seconds after posting, Chloe deleted the post. What's wrong? Sophia leaned over to look. I turned off my phone. Nothing, just crushed a cockroach. That night, I returned to the student dormitory, and just as I pushed the door open, I saw Noah sitting on my bed. Well, a rare guest. I tossed my backpack onto the desk. He stood up with a dark expression. Ethan, we need to talk. About what? About how you were saying behind my back that I raise cockroaches. Noah's expression changed. Sophia told you? What? You dare say it, but not admit it. I leaned back in the chair. Also, don't call her that so familiarly. She's my girlfriend. His fists clenched until they cracked. You don't like her at all. Is that any of your business? I stood up to look him in the eye. But you're so worked up, could it be that? I deliberately paused, watching the vein bulge on his forehead. Could it be that you're having an affair with Chloe? Noah's pupils suddenly narrowed. Bingo. Right in the bullseye. What are you talking about? His voice changed tone. I patted his shoulder. Just kidding, why so tense? He yanked his hand away from mine and slammed the door as he left. I let out a whistle and took out my phone to message Sophia. Dress nicely for the date tomorrow. Make some bastard furious. She replied instantly. Who did you piss off this time? I typed back with a smile. Someone who deserved a beating in a past life and is looking to get one in this one. Saturday morning at 8. I unusually got up early to wash my hair and even dabbed on some of my roommate's men's cologne. Holy shit, Ethan. Are you going to a beauty pageant? Leo stuck his head out from the top bunk with his hair looking like a bird's nest. This is way more exciting than a beauty pageant. I ruffle my hair in front of the mirror. Today I'm going to make two bastards furious. Just as I arrived at the school's main gate, I saw Sophia waiting for me in a light blue dress. The sunlight fell on her, making her entire being glow. Have you been waiting long? I jogged over. She shook her head. Just arrived. Then she wrinkled her nose. Are you wearing perfume? Leo's, borrowed to use. I felt a little embarrassed. Not nice. Okay, she said, a curl at the corner of her mouth. It just smells like a nightclub bouncer. Me. The first stop was Xingqing Amusement Park. I specifically chose the place where Chloe worked part-time as a ticket seller. 2 adult tickets. I knocked on the counter. Chloe looked up, saw me, and her face immediately fell longer than a donkey's. When she saw Sophia behind me, her expression twisted outright. $180, she said through gritted teeth. When I paid, I deliberately asked loudly, Baby, what do you want to play first later? Sophia blinked and immediately understood. I want to ride the Ferris wheel. Her voice was so sweet it could squeeze out honey. Chloe's hand, giving change, was trembling. As soon as we entered the park, Sophia pinched me. Did you do that on purpose? Ouch, ouch, ouch. I grinned and winced. Don't you think her expression is hilarious? She rolled her eyes at me. Childish. Then will you cooperate with my performance? I leaned close to her ear. If I make her furious, I'll buy you a flavored tea drink. 2 cups. Deal. So the whole morning, we wandered around the amusement park like conjoined twins. When we rode the carousel, I insisted on squeezing onto the same horse with her. When she was eating cotton candy, I pretended to let her feed me. In a haunted house, she got so scared she dove into my arms. Although I felt she was pretending. It worked wonders. Every time I looked back, I could see Chloe hauntingly trailing behind, each time with her face looking worse than before. At lunch, Sophia suddenly said, I'm going to the restroom. No sooner had she left than Chloe rushed up to me. Ethan Johnson, don't go too far. What did I do? I asked innocently, spreading my hands. You don't actually like her. Her eyes were red. You're just trying to make me mad. I almost laughed aloud. Chloe, being narcissistic is an illness. You need treatment. She was about to lose it, then suddenly caught sight of Sophia returning and immediately changed her expression. Ethan, I know you still have feelings for me. What the hell? Playing that game with me? I stood up, wrapped my arm around Sophia in front of her, and kissed her. Sorry about that. I grinned. My girlfriend is just too cute. I couldn't help it. Sophia's face flushed red, and Chloe's went green. Perfect. On the way home in the afternoon, Sophia suddenly said, Chloe likes you. Huh, I played dumb. She just blocked me in the bathroom, Sophia said, swinging her flavored tea, and called you a scumbag, told me to stay away from you. I got nervous. What did you say? I say. She suddenly smiled slyly. Thanks for the reminder, but whether he's trash or not is for me to decide. Damn, this girl is exactly my type. That night, I had just returned to the student dorm when my phone blew up. Someone in the class group anonymously posted a photo, the one of me and a girl shopping 2 years ago, with the caption, "The Sea King has hooked a new fish." Leo leaned in, WTF, who is so shameless? I sneered indirectly at Chloe White. If you're going to post a picture, post it. Why use a burner account? The group chat fell instantly silent as a grave. 3 minutes later, Chloe messaged me privately. How did you know it was me? I replied, you were like this in your past life. Of course, I didn't send the second half. Just as I was about to shut off my phone and sleep, a message from Sophia popped up. See you at the campus library tomorrow? I replied in a second. Sure. Thinking a bit more, I added, remember to bring Chloe. She seems to really enjoy watching us be in a relationship. Sophia sent a hammer to the head emoji. I smiled and turned off my phone, looking forward to Chloe's sticker performance tomorrow. On Monday's early class, I was asleep at my desk when someone grabbed my collar and hauled me up. Fuck. I opened my eyes and saw Noah's twisted face. Took the wrong medicine first thing in the morning. He dragged me to the corner of the main teaching building hallway, his eyes red as if rabid. Ethan Johnson, how many years have we known each other? Since you wore split crotch pants to sneak a peek at Mrs. Wong, next door bathing? I counted on my fingers about 18 years. You fucking. He raised his fist halfway, then lowered it. Sophia is mine. Let go. I dug at my ear. Say that again? It's too windy. I didn't hear clearly. I said. He enunciated each word. Give Sophia back to me. I laughed. On what basis? On the basis that you were spreading that I keep cockroaches? Or on the basis that you had Chloe running around making up rumors? Noah's expression changed. I don't know what you're talking about. Play dumb. Keep pretending. I leaned toward him. Then I'll ask you. Where did you go last Friday night? His eyes flickered. The student dormitory. Nonsense. I took out my phone and showed the photo. That small hotel behind the school. Want me to pull up the surveillance footage? The photo showed him and Chloe with their arms around each other entering the hotel. Noah's face went white in an instant. You followed me? What a coincidence. I happened to be passing by that day. I put away my phone. So on what ground are you asking me to give her to you now? As the cheating brother, he flew into a rage. So what? At least I was serious about Sophia. Why didn't you let go in your past life? Those words almost slipped out of my mouth. I swallowed them back and forced myself to say, are you worthy? Noah completely lost it and threw a punch. I was ready. I stepped aside to dodge and counter with a punch of my own. Stop. Sophia's voice suddenly rang out. Noah's fist froze in midair, his face changing in an instant. Sophia. Don't get me wrong. It was Ethan who did what first? I cut him off. Did he discover you cheating first? Or did he expose your public image first? Sophia walked over, glanced at the swollen corner of my mouth, then looked at Noah. Were you two fighting? No. Noah instantly became meek. We were discussing schoolwork. Right? I wiped the corner of my mouth. On the self-cultivation of scumbags. He's the lecturer. Sophia didn't smile. She grabbed my hand. Come on, class is about to start. Noah panicked. Sophia. Noah black. Sophia turned her head, her voice calm. Friday at 7. Where will you be? He was like a rooster with its neck squeezed, unable to utter a single word. As they walked out of the main academic building, Sophia suddenly asked, You've known for a long time? Why didn't you tell me? I shrugged. No proof. Saying that sounds like stirring up trouble. She stopped, took a bandage from her bag, and pressed it on the corner of my mouth. Does it hurt? Yes. I bare my teeth. It needs a kiss to get better. Dream on. She blushed and pushed me away, then added in a low voice, Wait until your injury heals before we talk. Just as we were getting cozy, my phone suddenly started vibrating wildly. Leo sent more than a dozen messages in a row. Shit. Noah is going crazy in the class group. He said he wants to break off our friendship. He also said you stole his girlfriend. I opened the group chat. Noah had posted a long message, accusing me of betraying him, and finally at everyone. From today on, I don't have this brother. A bunch of people try to reason with him. Don't be rash. Isn't there some misunderstanding? I replied directly, Sure, but please pay back the $2,000 you borrowed from me last year. Any online payment app will do. The group went silent instantly. 3 minutes later, Noah messaged me privately. "You're ruthless." I sent a smile emoji, then turned to Sophia and said, "Let's go. I'll buy you a specialty tea drink." "Not angry anymore?" She tilted her head and looked at me. "Angry?" I put my arm around her shoulders. "I'm more than happy. Finally, I don't have to look at that constipated face of his anymore." Sophia suddenly leaned close to my ear. "I'll tell you a secret." "What?" Actually, her eyes sparkled. "I've long felt that the way Noah looks at me is disgusting." "Damn. Why is this girl so to my taste?" I was just about to take the chance to steal a kiss when someone shoved me from behind. Chloe rushed over like a gust of wind, running and crying as she went. "Well," I whistled. "Looks like someone's been found out." Sophia watched her retreating figure and suddenly said, "I suddenly feel a bit sorry for her." "Don't." I took her hand. "In her last life, she didn't show you any pity." What did you say?" "Nothing." I quickly changed the subject. "Come on, let's go buy some specialty tea drinks. Add an extra helping of boba." On Wednesday afternoon, Sophia and I were studying in the campus library. She suddenly poked me with her pen. "You said last week the student council was going to move offices. They really moved today." My hand, which was copying notes, paused. "Huh? Did I say that?" "You did." She narrowed her eyes. "And last month you said the school cafeteria would raise prices, and it actually did." "Damn, I let it slip." I forced a laugh twice. "My uncle works in logistics." "Is that so?" She twirled her pen. "So you say Noah would cheat because your uncle told you that?" Sweat began to bead on my forehead. This girl is way too perceptive. As I was thinking how to cover it up, I suddenly heard a sharp smack. Chloe slammed a stack of books down on our table. "How coincidental," she said with a phony smile. "Sophia, can I have a word with you?" Sophia closed her book. "Say it here." Chloe glanced at me. "There are some things not appropriate to say in front of the patient." "Patient?" Sophia frowned. Chloe lowered her voice. "You don't know? Ethan, he has delusional disorder." She took out her phone. "Look, this is the message his mom sent me last week." I craned my neck to look and nearly choked with laughter. This was clearly a chat log she'd forged herself. "He says he can foresee the future," Chloe said, worry etched on her face. "He also keeps talking about stuff like past lives." Sophia's expression changed. My heart sank to the bottom of the valley. "It's over. This move is vicious." "Sophia." I grabbed her. "Don't listen to her nonsense." Chloe took the chance to add fuel to the fire. "If you don't believe me, you can ask Professor Jean from the psychology department. Ethan even went for counseling last semester." "Nonsense." My fists clenched. "Chloe White." I sneered. "You last Friday night." She suddenly screamed, cutting me off. "Sophia, look, he's having an episode. Every time he's exposed, he starts spouting nonsense." The other students nearby all turned to look. Sophia stood up. "Let's go talk outside." When they reached the back door of the school library, Chloe still tried to follow, but Sophia snapped. "Take one more step and I'll post Noah's chat logs on the school's bulletin board." Chloe went pale and turned away. "What chat logs?" I asked curiously. "I made them up." Sophia flashed a sly smile. "But can you tell me the truth now?" Sunlight fell on her face, and I suddenly decided to take a gamble. "What if I told you?" I took a deep breath. "I really did come back from the future. Would you believe me?" She didn't speak. "I knew you wouldn't believe me." I smiled bitterly. "Forget it. Just think of me as—" "I believe you." "What?" Sophia took a notebook out of her bag. "In the past 2 months, you predicted 17 things correctly, including 3 that were impossible to guess." She flipped to a page. "The most outrageous was last month when you said the lab building would leak, and it really did. It hadn't leaked even after 2 weeks of rain before that." I stared in astonishment. "You have been keeping a record this whole time?" She tilted her head. "So, did we know each other in the last life?" My nose suddenly felt a little sore. "We did. And then, my throat tightened. I died, saw Chloe and Noah together, came back to life, and met you." She was silent for a long time. My heart raced as if it were going to explode. "No wonder." she said suddenly. No wonder what? No wonder you said you liked me the first time we met. Her eyes sparkled. So it was planned all along. The worry I'd been holding finally eased. So, don't you think I'm crazy? Let me be crazy then. She stood on tiptoe and kissed me. Anyway, I like you too. Damn, this is nothing like what I imagined. Wait, I suddenly realized. Since when did you like me? It's a secret. She turned and ran. I caught up and pulled her into my arms. Are you going to tell me or not? I won't tell. If you don't tell, I'll kiss you. Pervert. At 3 a.m, I woke from a nightmare, drenched in cold sweat. In the dream, I returned to the wedding anniversary of my previous life. I deliberately took the day off, bought a cake and a present, and went home. But I saw Chloe and Noah making love on our marital bed. Afraid of what? Chloe's voice slithered into my ear like a viper. That idiot is working late at the office. Noah panted. What if he suddenly comes back? Even better if he comes back. Chloe smiled viciously. Let him see with his own eyes what his wife looks like. I sat up abruptly and slammed my fist into the wall. The sting from my knuckles brought me somewhat to my senses. I fumbled for my phone and sent Sophia a message. Are you awake? She replied instantly. Had a nightmare? I was taken aback for a moment. How did you know? Just a guess. She sent a cat petting head emoji. Want a video chat? When the video connected, her little face looked especially warm on the screen. What did you dream about? Things from my past life. My throat was dry. I saw Chloe and Noah. Don't say it. She gently cut me off. It's all in the past. I shook my head. You don't know. In my past life, I was kept in the dark like a fool for 10 years. 10 years. If it weren't for getting lung cancer. He suddenly choked off halfway through. Sophia's eyes were red. Not this time. She leaned closer to the screen. I promise. We just quietly looked at each other like that until dawn. I felt the atmosphere was off the moment I walked into the classroom for the morning general lecture. A few girls were pointing at me, and a boy deliberately said loudly, "Now even mentally ill people can get into university?" Leo rushed over and grabbed me. Don't pay attention to them. That crazy woman Chloe is spreading rumors again. What is she saying about me this time? I was going to say. Leo hesitated. Never mind, check the campus forum. The latest hot post title was, Knowing 1, Playing 3. The true face of a certain department beauty exposed. I clicked it open, and it was a slanderous piece turning facts upside down. It claimed Sophia knowingly knew Chloe and I were a couple and deliberately inserted herself between us. The most disgusting thing was that they photoshopped an intimate photo of Chloe and me. The comments section was a filthy mess. Looks innocent. Turns out she's a conniving girl. I heard she already, in high school, at Ethan Johnson, please control your girlfriend. I was so furious my hands trembled, just about to reply, when Sophia called, come to the main teaching building rooftop. On the rooftop, she was leisurely eating a strawberry cake. You still in the mood for cake? I snatch her fork. Do you know how they're tearing you apart on the forums? What's the rush? She licked the cream. I found something interesting. She turned on the tablet. The screen showed a piece of hotel surveillance footage. The full video of Chloe and Noah booking a room together. The timestamp shows it was last month. Fuck. I widened my eyes. Where did you get this? A hacker friend. She blinked. Tell me, what if we posted this on the forum? Wait. I suddenly thought of something. Don't post it yet. Why? I grinned. Isn't the campus singing contest tomorrow? I heard Chloe is going on stage. Sophia's eyes lit up. You mean, publicly punish her? I took the cake from her hand. This is more fitting for them. Just then, the rooftop door was suddenly pushed open. Chloe burst in with 2 hangers on. So you are here after all? She pointed Sophia aggressively. Have you no shame? Stealing someone's boyfriend and still. What else? Sophia leisurely raised the tablet. Still collecting evidence of your cheating? Chloe went pale as she saw the surveillance footage. Ew. How did you? If you don't want others to know, don't do it in the first place. I stood up. Now, either you delete the post and apologize yourself, or dream on. Chloe suddenly rushed over to grab the tablet. Sophia had anticipated it and dodged to the side. Chloe couldn't stop her momentum, slammed into the railing, and her phone fell down with a smack. "My phone!" she screamed as she rushed downstairs to retrieve it. "Don't worry." Sophia waved the flash drive in her hand. "I have all the surveillance backups." Chloe froze where she stood, like a chicken with its neck wrung. "Before 8 tonight." I held up 3 fingers. "Delete the post, apologize, and withdraw from the singing contest. Otherwise, just you wait." She spat out a parting threat and fled in panic with her followers. Watching her retreating figure, Sophia suddenly laughed out loud. When her phone fell, her face looked like she'd eaten 10 pounds of manure. I put my arm around her shoulders. "Tomorrow will be even more exciting." By the way, she took a pillbox out of her bag. "For you." "What?" "For calming the nerves." She stood on tiptoe and kissed me. "Sleep well tonight. Don't have any more nightmares." I felt a warm tingle in my chest and was about to kiss her back when I suddenly heard a click. Downstairs, a boy was holding up his phone, secretly taking photos. "Hey!" I shouted. The boy turned and ran. From his back, he looked like Noah's roommate. Sophia frowned. "What scheme are they up to now?" "Don't worry about them." I took her hand. "Let's eat first." "I'm hungry. I want hot pot." "Let's go." We had just reached the school gate when we saw Noah standing there, his face as sullen as the bottom of a hot pot. "Ethan." He blocked me. "We need to talk." "Talk to your mom." I shoved him aside. He shouted from behind. "You think Sophia really likes you? She's just using you to make me angry." I froze in my tracks. Sophia turned around, smiling, and said, "Noah, do you know? You look especially like." "Like what?" Noah asked instinctively. "Like a neutered teddy." Saying that, she pulled me and left. I laughed so hard I nearly split my sides. Behind me came Noah's hysterical curses. In a hot pot restaurant, Sophia, who was blanching beef tripe, suddenly said, "Actually, he's not wrong." "What?" I held my chopsticks suspended in midair. At first, I did agree to go on a date with you just to spite him. She looked up at me, but now? Now what? Now I realize, her eyes sparkling. "You're much more fun than trying to spite him." I sprayed beer out of my mouth. "Sophia Taylor." She laughed and dodged my grabbing hand. "Eat quickly. The beef tripe is getting tough." Seeing her flushed face in the steam, I suddenly felt that being reborn was truly wonderful. On the day of the campus singing contest, I had just woken up when I received over 20 unread messages from Sophia. "Did you see the notice board on campus?" Someone anonymously posted a little essay saying you stalk and harass Chloe, and even attached photos. I shot up, clicked the link, and nearly crushed my phone. It was a photo from the day before yesterday on the rooftop, photoshopped into a violent scene of me grabbing Chloe's wrist. The caption went on at length about how I was mentally controlling the 2 girls. The comments section had already exploded. "Holy shit, this guy is terrifying. You should call the police at Sophia Taylor Run." I was about to reply when my phone rang, an unknown number. "Ethan Johnson." Chloe's voice was smug. "Now you know what happens when you mess with me." I laughed angrily. "Your Photoshop skills are worse than your character. Say whatever you want." She lowered her voice. 6 o'clock tonight, the little grove on the west side of campus. Come alone, or else. Or what? Or I'll tell the whole school about your rebirth madness. She sneered. "How do you think everyone will see Sophia? Dating a lunatic?" The call ended. I was so angry my whole body shook. Just as I was about to hit back, Sophia suddenly rushed into the student dormitory. "Why has your phone been busy this whole time?" Her eyes were red, and she was clutching a printed-out slanderous post. "These." Her voice trembled. "What on earth is going on?" I pulled her down to sit. "The photos were photoshopped." "I know." She threw the paper onto the bed. "What I'm asking is, why did Chloe say you're mentally ill? Why did she say you go around telling people you were reborn?" My heart skipped a beat. "She came to see you? She just cornered me in the school cafeteria." Sophia bit her lip. "She even said you wrote in your planner that I died in my past life." "Damn, that bitch rummaged through my stuff?" I opened a drawer. Sure enough, the planner hidden in the textbook was gone. Listen, I took Sophia's hand. I really was reborn. In my last life, I died of lung cancer, and before I died, I saw Chloe and Noah. Enough. She yanked her hand back. Do you know the whole school is watching us and laughing right now? It was the first time I'd seen her so upset. Sophia, don't call me. She stepped back 2 paces. Either you tell the truth now or... I've been telling the truth the whole time. I took out my phone. Look, this is last month's stock records. I predicted the limit up stocks 3 days in advance. Also the cafeteria price hike, the lab building leak. She stared at the screen, her breathing gradually steadying. The most direct piece of evidence. I smiled wryly. Noah has a brown birthmark on his right buttock, shaped like Peppa. Sophia snorted with a laugh, then immediately put on a stern face. What does that prove? Maybe you peeped on him while he was showering. He has a scar on his back from falling out of a tree when he was 12. I continued. Chloe has a tattoo on the 3rd rib on her left side. The character from Noah. Sophia's expression changed. You even know that? They told me themselves at my bedside in my past life. I clenched my fist. Chloe said the tattoo was to commemorate the first time they slept together. Silence. A long silence. How ridiculous. Sophia murmured, but of all things... It just so happens to be true. She suddenly looked up. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Afraid you'd think I'm crazy. I forced a smile. Now! Before I could finish, she dove into my arms. You idiot. I was stunned. Next time you hide something from me. She muttered. I'll seriously be angry. I hugged her tightly, my nose burning. There won't be a next time. Just as we were being lovey-dovey, Leo burst in. Holy shit, you two still in the mood for romance? There's a new post on the forum. The latest Hot Threads headline was shocking. Exposed. A certain department beauty seduced Professor D to secure graduate placement. The accompanying photo was a candid shot of Sophia and the department chair in his office. What the hell? I was so angry my hands trembled. I was clearly asking about the paper last week. Sophia was unusually calm. Chloe did it. How did you know? The angle of the photo. She zoomed in on the picture. Only members of the student council can get into that locker room position. Something hit me all of a sudden. At 6 tonight, Chloe invited me to the Grove. A trap. Sophia narrowed her eyes. Use their plan against them? We smiled at each other. At 6 o'clock sharp, I went alone to the small grove on the west side of the school. Chloe was already waiting there, with 2 burly guys from the athletics department standing by her side. You're here, she smiled maliciously. Have you decided? What do you mean, how? Leave Sophia. Publicly admit you have a mental illness. She shook her phone. Or else. Or else what? I pretended to be frightened. Or else. She gave a look. 2 burly men stepped forward. We'll help you get treated. I took 2 steps back. Don't you dare do anything rash. Now you're scared. Chloe beamed triumphantly. Kneel and apologize to me, and I'll... What will you do? Sophia's voice suddenly called from behind the tree. Chloe's face changed dramatically. You. How could you? How did I know you set this trap here? Sophia shook her phone. Of course it was your dear Noah who snitched. Nonsense. Chloe screamed. Noah couldn't have. You wouldn't betray me? I took out the recording device. How do you explain this conversation then? Noah's voice came through clearly on the recording. It was all Chloe's idea. She said she wanted to teach Ethan a lesson. Chloe's face went ashen. By the way, Sophia smiled sweetly. The fake post you put on the forum, the IP address has been traced. It came from a student council office. I added, and it just so happens to be on the same floor as the department head's office. Chloe finally realized, you tricked me. Smart. I applauded. Too bad it's too late. The 2 sports department students saw things going badly and turned to run. Now, I close in on Chloe. It's time to settle the score. Her legs went weak and she sank to the ground. Ew, what are you going to do? Sophia squatted down and said gently, don't worry, we won't hit you. I won't scold you either, I replied. Sophia suddenly raised her voice. We're going to post your glorious deeds in the alumni group, including but not limited to Cheating, spreading rumors, photoshopping, hiring thugs. Chloe completely broke down. No, I'm begging you. Too late. I press send. In 3 minutes, the whole school will know your true face. She suddenly lunged for my phone, and Sophia shoved her away. By the way, Sophia tilted her head. Do you know where Noah is right now? Chloe looked up, bewildered. At the hotel. I grinned. With the Foreign Languages Department's campus belle, Mia Lopez. Chloe looked as if she'd been struck by lightning. Liar, you lied to me. She grabbed her bag and stumbled away. Watching her retreating figure, Sophia exhaled in relief. Is it over? Just getting started. I pulled her close. There's still a show tomorrow. What show? Noah's singing contest performance. I grinned wickedly. I specially prepared a surprise BGM for him. Sophia's eyes lit up. You wouldn't. Shh. I put a finger to my lips. You'll know tomorrow. That night, the campus forum exploded. Chloe's scandal spread across the school like wildfire, and Noah became a laughingstock as well. Sophia and I were holed up in the flavored tea shop planning the final revenge. Isn't this going too far? She asked, biting the straw. Compared to what they did to me in my last life. I stroked the photo of the lung cancer diagnosis report. This is mild. Sophia held my hand. This time I'm here. Outside, the sunset was like blood. Tomorrow would be the end for those two scoundrels. The campus singing competition venue was packed with people. Noah, as the closing performer, was preparing backstage. I, Mao, stood beside the sound console and gave the staff an okay sign. The host announced, "Now, please welcome Noah Black from the School of Economics to perform the song, A Lifetime's Love." Amid applause, Noah walked on stage in a suit. The music had just begun when the big screen suddenly flashed. It switched to footage from the hotel surveillance. The entire hall burst into uproar. On the screen, Noah and Mia were kissing. The timestamp showed 10 p.m. last night. Fuck, the audience erupted. Doesn't he have a girlfriend? What a scumbag. Noah froze on the stage, his face ashen. At that moment, Chloe rushed forward. Turn it off. Turn it off now. Too late. The second video began to play. It was a recording of Chloe and those two burly guys from the PE department plotting to teach me a lesson. The venue instantly erupted. Badass. Leo patted my shoulder wildly from the audience. How the hell did you get that? I smiled without answering and turned to look for Sophia, only to find she wasn't in her seat. In the service corridor, I ran into Noah grabbing Chloe by the collar and shouting, "It's all your damn fault." Chloe's makeup was ruined from crying. How was I supposed to know they'd? Get out. Noah shoved her away. Don't ever come to me again. Chloe stumbled back and caught sight of me, her eyes instantly venomous. Ethan Johnson, are you satisfied? Not bad. I shrugged. Still a long way off from how you treated me in my last life. She suddenly lunged at me, trying to grab my face, but was stopped by the security guards who had arrived. Just you wait, she screamed hysterically. I won't let you get away with this. I turned and walked away, feeling nothing at all. I've heard threats like this too many times in my past life. As soon as I stepped out of the ceremony hall, Sophia called, "My mom wants to see you." I almost slipped now. Yes. Her voice was muffled. She just saw the forum post. She thinks you are too cruel. In the Corner Star Cafe, Mrs. Taylor sized me up and down. Are you the boy who got my daughter talked about by the whole school? My back went instantly soaked. Mom. Sophia tugged her sleeve. It's not his fault. Sophia, Mrs. Taylor said sternly. Your father just called and said boys like this are too dangerous. He wants you to break up. My heart stopped. I don't want to. Sophia's eyes reddened. You people don't understand him at all. Then let me understand. Mrs. Taylor stared at me. Classmate Ethan, why are you so hostile toward those two people? I clenched my fist. It's time. Auntie, I take a deep breath. Can I take Sophia somewhere? After we come back, you can make your decision. Mrs. Taylor hesitates for a moment, then finally nods. The taxi stopped at Blue Bay Seaside Park. Sophia looked at me in puzzlement. This is where we first met in our past life. I led her to a bench. You said here that you wanted to get into an Ivy League graduate school. She widened her eyes. I haven't told anyone. And this. I took a hairpin out of my pocket. You left it here back then. I've kept it ever since. Sophia took the hairpin. Her fingers suddenly began to tremble. Wait, this pattern. She pressed hard at her temple, her face deathly pale. Sophia? I panicked. What's wrong? I remember. Her voice drifted. That day it was raining. You took off your own coat. My heart skipped a beat. You remember? She slowly looked up, tears welling and spilling over. I remember when you had terminal lung cancer. I went to the hospital to see you. Chloe stopped me from going in. I trembled all over and pulled her into a tight embrace. There's more. She choked in my ear. At the funeral, I saw them holding each other. We held each other and wept until the sun sank. On the cab ride back, Sophia leaned against my shoulder. My mom sighed. Leave it to me. I took her hand. This time, nobody is going to separate us. She suddenly laughed. Do you know? In my past life, I already liked you. What? I almost jumped and hit the car roof. But Chloe said you hate girls who make the first move. She pouted. So I didn't dare confess. I was so angry my teeth itched. That woman. But it's all good now. She kissed me. You're mine. The driver glanced at us through the rearview mirror. Being young is great. We smiled at each other. Yeah, living my life over again is really great. When we got home, Mrs. Taylor was still waiting for us. Seeing her daughter with red-rimmed eyes but a bright smile, she sighed, Fine, your matters. Decide for yourselves. Sophia cheered and ran over to hug her mother. I stood at the doorway, looking at the warm light in the living room, and suddenly felt that all the suffering I endured in my previous life had been worth it. My phone suddenly buzzed, a message from Leo. Check the alumni group. Noah dropped out. I opened the group chat. The latest message was Noah's withdrawal statement, followed by Chloe's comment. Noah, I'll wait for you. But immediately afterwards, someone in the know spilled the beans. Wait my ass. Someone just saw Chloe go to a hotel with those two guys from the PE department. I handed my phone to Sophia. After she read it, she laughed so hard she couldn't stand up straight. Evil people will be punished by other evils. Outside, the night sky was studded with stars. This time, our future will definitely be different. The day before graduation, Sophia and I were packing up the student dormitory. She suddenly crashed the suitcase down with a bang, covered her head and crouched. What's wrong? I rushed over to help her up. My head hurts. She clutched my sleeve tightly with her fingers. So many images. That message Chloe showed me in her freshman year. It was fabricated. My heart jolted. What message? She said you have a girlfriend. Sophia's forehead broke out in a cold sweat. So I kept myself from getting close to you. In my last life, we could have. I seized her and held her tight. I see. No wonder in my previous life we were in the same class for 4 years, yet strangers to each other. Just then, my phone suddenly received a text from an unknown number. If you want your girlfriend to live, come alone to the abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. Call the police and you'll be picking up a corpse. My blood froze instantly. What's wrong? Sophia asked weakly, looking up. I forced calm. The department head is looking for you about your diploma. Shall I go with you? No need. She pushed herself up. You tidy up first. I'll be back soon. Watching her retreating back, I immediately dialed Leo. Track her location for me. Now. 20 minutes later, I kicked open the iron door of the abandoned warehouse. Noah stood in the shadows, fiddling with a pocket knife in his hand. That was fast, he grinned. Looks like true love, huh? Where's Sophia? I scanned the surroundings. What's the rush? He walked closer slowly. Let's talk first. Do you know why I've fallen into this state? Because you're a jerk? Because of you. He suddenly flew into a rage. If you hadn't come back to life and messed things up, I would be the one married to Sophia now. I sneered. In your last life, you cheated on her too, didn't you? So what? He was hysterical. That bitch Chloe uploaded the video online. My dad cut off my allowance. I was fucking forced to drop out. As I was speaking, sobbing came from the corner. Only then did I see Sophia tied to a pillar, her mouth covered with tape. Let her go. I rushed forward. Stop. Noah pressed the tip of a knife against Sophia's neck. Move again, and I'll... No. Chloe suddenly rushed in through the back door. Are you crazy? Get the hell out. Noah roared. If you hadn't seduced those two jerks from the sports department, would I have come to this? Chloe's face went pale. I was forced. Nonsense. In the video, you were laughing so happily. While they were busy with their dog-eat-dog fight, I quietly edged over toward Sophia. Don't move. Noah suddenly turned. Ethan Johnson, today we have to settle this. Fine. I spread my hands one-on-one. He sneered and charged with a knife raised. I dodged to the side and landed a punch on his nose. The bastard staggered 2 steps, then suddenly changed direction and lunged at Sophia. Watch out! I hurled myself forward. At the critical moment, Chloe suddenly rushed out and stood in front of Sophia. With a PFT sound, the tip of the knife plunged into her abdomen. Time seemed to stand still. Noah stared dumbfounded. Chloe slowly collapsed, blood quickly soaking through her clothes. She trembled as she grabbed my hand. Sorry, in my previous life? Before she finished, her hand went limp. Sirens wailed in the distance. Noah snapped awake, turned to flee, but was pressed to the ground by the arriving police. Sophia. I rushed over and tore off the tape. Are you okay? She threw herself into my arms, trembling all over. Chloe, the ambulance is almost here. I held her tightly. It's okay, it's all over. 3 months later, at Sophia and my wedding, Leo's face was flushed from drinking. Ethan, your rebirth is totally OP. Get lost. I laughed and punched him. Sophia walked over in her wedding dress. What are you talking about? Let's talk about our first meeting. I took her hand, even though it was 10 years late. Her eyes were slightly red, not late. The sunlight outside was just right. This time, we finally didn't miss it. George, I've got good news and bad news. Which do you want to hear first? I put down my paintbrush and looked at my friend Frank. He stood at the studio door with a mysterious air, his face a mix of nervousness and excitement. Let's start with the bad news. After all, I've gotten used to it these past 3 years. Your painting, Eternity, just sold for a sky-high price. Over $6 million. I frowned. How is that bad news? Frank chuckled. Because it's actually part of the good news. The bad news is, buddy, you might need to see a psychiatrist. What do you mean? A woman who looks exactly like Mary showed up at your art exhibition. I almost thought I was seeing a ghost. The paintbrush slipped from my hand and fell to the floor, splattering paint across the unfinished canvas. Mary, my late wife, died 3 years ago after accidentally falling off a cliff. I watched with my own eyes as her body was pulled from the water. In that moment, my world completely collapsed. Stop joking around, Frank. Why would I lie to you? She even left this. Frank handed me a note, with an address and a time written on it. My hand trembled slightly. The handwriting was exactly the same as Mary's. That night, I waited until midnight at the designated cafe. Just as I was about to leave, a familiar figure appeared at the door. Mary? No, it couldn't be her. But every gesture of that woman, from the tips of her hair to her fingertips, was a shadow of Mary. George, it's been a long time. She sat across from me, and the familiar voice nearly made my heart stop. Who are you? I struggled to remain calm. I'm Mary, your wife. She smiled and reached out her hand. There was a scar on her palm, the mark Mary got when she accidentally cut herself on glass at 15. Impossible. Mary is already dead. She laughed softly. That was just an accident. I fell off the cliff and was saved by a reclusive old doctor. I lost my memory from the injuries and only recently remembered everything. As she spoke, tears began to fall with an expression I knew all too well, the look Mary wore whenever she felt wronged. I know it's hard to believe, but I really am Mary. I couldn't believe my eyes. The shade of lipstick Mary loved most, the faint little mole beneath her left ear, the unconscious habit of rubbing her ring while speaking. Everything was so familiar. Are you really Mary? She nodded and took a small box out of her bag. This is the proof. Inside the box was the first piece of jewelry Mary ever designed. A sapphire ring, the only one of its kind, never mass-produced. I brought it with me that day because I wanted to surprise you. I suddenly stood up and pulled her into my arms. 3 years of longing surged over me like a tide. I held her tightly, afraid that if I let go, she would disappear again. On the way home, she told me about her experiences over the past 3 years. She was rescued by an old doctor in the mountains, lost her memory due to a severe head injury, and lived in a remote mountain village for more than 2 years. It wasn't until she happened to see a poster for my art exhibition that her memory gradually returned. The next day, I took her to see Frank. Oh my God, it really is you, Mary. Frank stared in astonishment, eyes wide. Frank, it's been a long time. She greeted him with a smile, exactly as I remembered. Frank pulled me aside and whispered, Man, this is unbelievable, but I really believe it's her. Who else but Mary could call me by my childhood nickname so accurately? That was something only the two of you knew. A week later, Mary officially returned. We held a small welcome party for her. Her mother was so overwhelmed that she fainted, and when she woke up, she clung to her daughter and refused to let go. But that night, I noticed the first sign that something was off. Mary never ate mangoes because she was severely allergic. Yet the returned Mary absent-mindedly tasted a mango dessert and was perfectly fine. Aren't you allergic to mangoes? I asked. She paused for a moment, then quickly laughed and said, Oh, that old Chinese doctor cured my allergy. He's really amazing. I nodded, but in my heart, I marked the first question mark. Is this really my wife? A month passed quickly, and Mary blended perfectly into our lives. She knew the location of every item in the house, remembered our shared memories, and could even accurately name friends we hadn't contacted in years. But those subtle feelings of discord kept growing. For example, the real Mary liked to listen to classical music, especially Debussy, while designing jewelry. But she would always unconsciously hum along to pop songs. Mary always habitually used her left hand to hold chopsticks, even though she knew it was wrong. She just couldn't change. But she was a standard right-handed user. The most obvious difference appeared that night when I accidentally caught her smoking in the bedroom. The real Mary hated the smell of smoke. Even when I came home from social events with a faint scent of cigarettes, she would frown. When did you start smoking? I stood at the doorway, my voice soft. She was clearly startled, hastily snuffing out the cigarette. This is a herbal cigarette for treating insomnia, prescribed by an old Chinese doctor. I nodded, not pressing further, but the doubts in my heart only grew deeper. The next day, I went to find Frank. Help me check if, in the past 3 years, plastic surgery technology has advanced enough to achieve this level. Frank's eyes widened. You mean, she's not Mary? I'm not sure, but there are always some things that don't add up. 2 days later, Frank brought news. High-end plastic surgery can make faces look similar, but it can't replicate the exact placement of scars or moles. And there's a limit to how well someone can imitate a voice. What if it was a twin? Frank shook his head. Mary is an only child. We all know that. I decided not to show my feelings for now and to keep observing. A week later, Mary's mother came to my house with astonishing news. George, Mary is going to have a baby, my mother-in-law told me excitedly. I stood there stunned. Before we got married, Mary had been diagnosed with uterine hypoplasia. The doctor had made it clear she could never get pregnant. This was our shared secret. Not even my mother-in-law knew. How do you know that? I managed to ask. Mary told me this morning. She said she already had a checkup. It's been 2 months. My mother-in-law happily grabbed my hand. It's a blessing from above. Mary survived death, and now she can bring us new life. My heart sank to the bottom. This absolutely could not be Mary. That night, I dug out the hospital's diagnosis certificate in my study, which clearly stated the condition of Mary's uterus. But when I wanted to talk to Mary about it, I found her in the bedroom, excitedly discussing the decoration of the nursery with my mother-in-law. Mary, could you come here for a moment? I called her calmly. She followed me into the study, still wearing a blissful smile on her face. Did you forget about this? I handed her the diagnosis certificate. She took it and glanced at it, her face instantly turning pale. George, I can explain. Explain what? Explain that you're not Mary at all. Mother-in-law heard the commotion and walked in. What's going on with you two? Mom, take a look at this. I handed her the proof. My mother-in-law read it, then looked at Mary in astonishment. What's going on? Mary, you can't have children. Of course she can, I sneered, because she's not Mary at all. My mother-in-law's face changed dramatically. What nonsense are you talking about? I can explain. She hurriedly grabbed my mother-in-law's hand. That old Chinese doctor not only saved my life, but also cured my uterine problem. It's a miracle, truly. My mother-in-law looked at me, then at her, hesitating. George, you're being too paranoid. My mother-in-law finally took her daughter's side. Mary has come back with great difficulty. You should cherish her, not doubt her. Yes, George, I know this is hard to accept, but miracles do happen. Tears welled up in her eyes. Haven't we always wanted a child? Now we can finally have our own baby. I looked at her face, identical to Mary's. Yet I became more certain in my heart. This woman was not my wife. All right, I believe you. I smiled, deciding to go along with their story for now. Let's wait together for this miracle to happen. That night, I secretly contacted a private detective. My mother-in-law gladly accepted her daughter's explanation, even suggesting she move in with us to take care of Mary during her pregnancy. Outwardly, I agreed, but inside I grew even more wary. This was no coincidence. There had to be some kind of plot. Mom, haven't you always lived in Haicheng? Won't it be hard to get used to living here? I probed cautiously. For my grandson, I'm willing to endure any inconvenience, my mother-in-law said firmly. I noticed a fleeting unnatural expression on Mary's face. Could the truth be connected to my mother-in-law? On the 3rd day after my mother-in-law moved in, I discovered more suspicious details. For example, the real Mary never drank coffee, but she and my mother-in-law often enjoyed it together. Also, Mary's favorite movie was Roman Holiday, but she claimed to prefer Titanic. The strangest thing is, Mary used to despise her cousin Tom when she was alive, but now he visits frequently and chats and laughs with Mary as if they're old friends. I told Frank about these discoveries. Buddy, things are getting more and more suspicious, Frank frowned. Are you sure you want to keep going like this? Why not just expose her directly? It's not the right time yet. I want to find out what they're really after. The private detective's investigation also made progress. The so-called old Chinese doctor who had saved Mary did not exist at all, and Mary's whereabouts over the past 3 years were completely untraceable. More importantly, the private detective uncovered a shocking fact during the investigation. Mary's cousin Tom was deeply in debt from gambling, and the painting Eternity under my name, worth over $6 million, was his only hope for quick cash. They're after your painting, the private detective asserted, and this fake Mary is likely a professional identity fraudster, hired to win your trust. I took a deep breath and decided to take the initiative. That afternoon, I pretended to go out, but secretly returned home and hid in the study. Sure enough, Mary and her cousin Tom were whispering to each other in the living room. "It's taking too long," Tom said irritably. "How much longer until he sells the painting?" "Don't worry," she soothed him. "I'm already pregnant, and now he completely believes I'm Mary. In a little while, I'll say I want to move to a better neighborhood for the sake of the baby, and then we'll naturally need to sell the painting to raise money." "You're really pregnant?" "That wasn't part of the plan. It was an accident, but it works to our advantage. George wants a child so badly." "Does Annie know the truth?" "She only knows we're trying to scam money, not the specific plan. But she hates George, thinks he caused her daughter's death, so she's more than happy to help." I clenched my fists. So my mother-in-law had always believed that Mary's accident was somehow my fault. In fact, we did argue over something trivial that day, and Mary stormed out in anger. I didn't try to stop her. But I never imagined it would be the last time I'd see her. "You don't actually have feelings for George, do you?" Tom suddenly asked. She was silent for a moment. "It's just part of the job. Besides, I owe you, and I won't go back on my word." "Good then. Don't forget how we're splitting the money once we get it." Their conversation confirmed my suspicions. This was all an elaborate scheme, with my eternity as the target. In the days that followed, I pretended everything was normal while secretly making preparations. I contacted the police, arranged for evidence-gathering equipment, and found the last piece Mary had left before she died, a silver necklace that had never been made public, engraved with an anniversary date only the two of us knew. 2 weeks later, my art exhibition was held as scheduled. As planned, Mary brought up the idea of moving, hinting that I could sell Eternity. I pretended to agree and said I would auction the painting on the last day of the exhibition. "This is a surprise I prepared for you," I said on the eve of the exhibition, taking out a delicate box. "To celebrate the new life we're about to begin." She opened the box in surprise, and inside was the silver necklace. "It's beautiful, thank you." She smiled as she prepared to put it on. "Wait," I stopped her. "Aren't you going to look at the engraving on the back?" She turned the necklace over, and her face suddenly went pale. "What's wrong? Don't you like it?" I asked, feigning ignorance. "No, I really like it. It's just, I'm a bit moved." She forced a smile, but didn't know how to explain that she couldn't recognize the significance of that date. "See you tomorrow. Get some good rest, and don't forget to wear this necklace." I kissed her forehead and whispered in her ear, "After all, this is your final design." Her body visibly stiffened for a moment, but she kept smiling. "Of course, I cherish it very much. Tomorrow, the truth will come to light." On the day of the exhibition, the place was packed with people. My painting, Eternity, was displayed in the most prominent spot, right next to the last batch of jewelry designs Mary had created before her death. Mary held my arm, flawlessly playing the role of my wife as always. She had even gone out of her way to wear Mary's favorite white dress and the silver necklace I had given her last night. My mother-in-law and Tom were there too. The three of them exchanged glances from time to time, clearly waiting for the perfect moment. Frank appeared as planned, pretending to be extremely interested in Eternity and asking me about the auction details. "The auction will begin promptly at 4 in the afternoon, I replied with a smile. "This painting means a great deal to me, and I hope it finds someone who truly appreciates it." Mary immediately chimed in. "Yes, although it's hard to part with it, this is a necessary decision for our future." I noticed she glanced at Tom, who gave a barely perceptible nod. At 3:30 in the afternoon, the projector in the center of the exhibition hall lit up. This was the special segment I had arranged. "Ladies and gentlemen, I stood in front of Eternity. Before the auction begins, I'd like to share a little story about this painting." Mary's photo appeared on the projection screen, a group picture from her last birthday party before she passed away. 3 years ago, my wife Mary died in an accident. I created this painting, Eternity, in her memory. The woman in the painting has her back to the viewer, forever gazing into the distance, symbolizing a longing I can never reach. A soft sigh rippled through the crowd. Mary stood beside me, matching my words with a sorrowful expression. However, a month ago, a miracle happened. I turned to look at Mary. My wife came back. The whole room erupted in astonishment, and many people curiously sized up, "Mary. This is my wife, Mary." I took her hand and stepped forward. Back from the dead, it's truly the greatest blessing heaven could have given me. She smiled and nodded to everyone, while my mother-in-law and Tom stood by with smug expressions. However, my tone suddenly shifted. Amidst my joy, a question arose. Is she really Mary? The entire room fell silent. Mary's hand trembled slightly in my palm. So, I did some investigating. The projector switched to a set of comparison photos. On the left was the real Mary. On the right was a photo of her. They look exactly the same, don't they? But I clicked the remote, and the photo was enlarged, the details highlighted. The position of the piercing on the left ear was slightly different, the arch of the eyebrows subtly varied, and the fine lines at the corners of the eyes ran in different directions. These are details that even professional plastic surgery cannot fully replicate. Mary tried to pull her hand away, but I held on tightly. My mother-in-law and Tom also began to grow anxious, glancing toward the exit. More importantly, the real Mary has a feature that cannot be copied. I turned to Mary. The necklace I gave you last night has a date engraved on the back. Can you tell everyone what that date is? She opened her mouth, but no words came out. That was the due date of our first child, the one we lost. I spoke softly, my voice trembling with emotion. Mary designed this necklace to commemorate the baby we never got to meet. The date was our secret, only Mary and I knew. The room fell utterly silent. Mary turned deathly pale, my mother-in-law's eyes widened, and Tom had already started edging toward the door. What surprised me even more, I continued, was that the real Mary could never get pregnant due to an underdeveloped uterus. Yet this, Mary claims she's already 2 months along. I let go of her hand and took a step back. So, who are you really? A flicker of despair flashed in Mary's eyes, but she quickly regained her composure. I am Mary, it's just that old Chinese doctor. The non-existent old Chinese doctor, right? I sneered. Just like the non-existent amnesia, the non-existent miraculous recovery. I turned toward the projection screen. Let's see the truth. The screen played the secretly recorded video of her conversation with Tom, their discussion on how to swindle eternity, clearly audible. This isn't. She tried to explain, but my mother-in-law had already rushed forward. Who are you really? My mother-in-law screamed. You're not my daughter? Auntie, stop pretending, I said calmly. You know she's not Mary. You just wanted to get back at me, didn't you? My mother-in-law's face turned pale. I didn't know she was going to impersonate Mary. Tom just said he needed help to scam some money. Police. Don't move. Several plainclothes officers emerged from the crowd, blocking Tom as he tried to escape. Amid the chaos, Mary took the opportunity to shove me aside and run toward the exit. I chased after her and caught up in the parking lot. Tell me, who are you really? She finally stopped, turned to face me, tears welling in her eyes. My name is Luna. I'm an actress. Tom found me and said if I helped trick you out of a painting, he'd give me $1 million. I needed the money for my sister's medical treatment. Why did they choose me? Why Mary? She shook her head. I don't know. They gave me a lot of information, photos, videos, even your chat logs. I was just following the script. The police arrived and took her away. I stood where I was, gazing at the distant sky, my heart a tumult of emotions. Back in the exhibition hall, the crowd had already dispersed, leaving only Frank and a few police officers. It's all been cleared up, Frank walked over. Tom owed money to loan sharks and was desperate. Your mother-in-law always resented you for not saving Mary, so she helped them plan the whole thing. I walked up to eternity, gently caressing the back of the woman in the painting. Mary, I can finally give you an answer. The police left with the evidence. Frank patted me on the shoulder. What do you plan to do next? I took a deep breath. Prepare for the final painting. What will it be called? The Pursuit, I said softly. This time, I'll paint her face, not just her back. After the case was solved, my life seemed to return to where it was 3 years ago. Eternity was temporarily held by the court as crucial evidence. Tom and Luna were arrested for fraud, and my mother-in-law was investigated as an accomplice. The prosecution wants you to testify in court, the officer called to inform me. The trial is scheduled for early next month. I agreed, though I was utterly exhausted inside. After exposing the deception, I thought I would feel the thrill of revenge, but what I felt instead was a profound emptiness. Those days spent with Mary that month had allowed me to feel a trace of warmth in life again, even if that warmth was born of lies. Frank often came to see me, worried I might fall into despair once more. I told him not to worry, that I was working on a new piece, The Pursuit. Are you really going to paint Mary's face from the front? Frank asked curiously. For the past 3 years, you've always refused to do that. It's time, I replied. We can't live in the past forever. I moved out of the apartment I had shared with Mary and returned to the old house in the suburbs, the place where the real Mary and I had first made our home. The dust-laden memories in the house brought me both pain and comfort. Mary's studio remained just as she had left it, design sketches scattered across the table, unfinished jewelry drafts pinned to the drawing board. One afternoon, while sorting through Mary's belongings, I discovered an encrypted external hard drive. After several attempts, I finally unlocked it using our wedding anniversary as the password. Inside were backups of Mary's design works, along with some personal photos and videos. One folder in particular caught my attention. Inside a folder named Plan was a series of jewelry design sketches, labeled George's Birthday Special Project. It was then I remembered that, in the months before Mary passed away, she often spoke mysteriously about giving me an unparalleled birthday surprise. Leafing through these design drafts, I couldn't help but be moved to tears. Mary had planned to design a jewelry collection inspired by my paintings over the years, with each piece corresponding to a representative work from my artistic career. The last page was a sketch of a ring, with a dark red stone set in the center, its edges adorned with tiny diamonds, closely resembling the sunrise in my early work, Dawn. This is blood amber? I examined the notes carefully, confirming the name of this rare gemstone. Mary's designs had always been bold, but blood amber is extremely rare in the Chinese market, almost impossible to acquire. How did she obtain such a material? As I continued searching, I found a series of email correspondence screenshots. Mary had actually contacted a gemstone dealer in Myanmar, commissioning the blood amber specifically for this ring. The last email showed that the gem had already been shipped, but the date was exactly 1 week before Mary's death. I immediately called Frank. Help me check if there was a package sent from Myanmar 3 years ago, addressed to Mary. 2 days later, Frank brought news. The package did exist, but since no one signed for it, it was returned. However, according to the shipping records, it was resent a month ago, this time addressed to you. What? I was completely confused. I haven't received any package. Check your old apartment? Frank suggested. Back at my old apartment, the manager told me there was indeed a package, but it had been signed for by Mary. She said it was a surprise for you, so she didn't notify you, the manager explained. This meant Luna had taken the blood amber. I rushed to the detention center and requested to see Luna. Separated by glass, she looked much more haggard than the last time we met, but still wore that face so similar to Mary's. What are you doing here? She asked coldly. A month ago, you signed for a package from Myanmar. There was a blood amber inside. I want to know where it is. She looked surprised. How did you know? Tom asked me to sign for it. He said it was some precious gem. He took it. My heart sank. Tom was deep in gambling debt. A precious blood amber would be a windfall for him. He had probably sold it long ago. That blood amber is very important to me, I said softly. It was the last gift my wife left me. Luna was silent for a moment, then suddenly said, maybe it's not that bad. Tom said the stone has flaws, its value is greatly reduced, and he hasn't found a suitable buyer yet. Hope was rekindled. If Tom hadn't sold the blood amber yet, maybe there was still a chance to get it back. Do you know where he might hide it? Luna hesitated for a moment. He has a safe deposit box in a self-storage facility on the east side of the city. After getting the address, I immediately contacted the officer in charge of the case and explained the situation. Since Tom was involved in a large sum of money, the police quickly approved the search request. Mr. George, we've found the safe deposit box, the officer said over the phone. Inside, we did find the blood amber you described, as well as some other evidence. A few hours later, I retrieved the blood amber at the police station. It was even more beautiful than I had imagined. Within the dark red core, wisps of mist seemed to swirl, shifting strangely under the light. This was the birthday gift Mary had so carefully chosen for me, waiting for 3 years. Back home, I carefully placed the blood amber beside the canvas of the pursuit. The painting was already more than half finished, Mary's face emerging from the blur into clarity, yet it still felt like something was missing. Watching the blood amber glimmer faintly under the light, I suddenly understood how I should complete the painting. The creation of the pursuit entered its final stage. I decided to break convention and incorporate the blood amber into the artwork. This would not only be a portrait, but a hybrid piece that fused painting with the art of jewelry. Are you sure you want to do this? Frank frowned. That blood amber is priceless. That's exactly why, I said firmly. Mary chose it for me. She wanted to inspire an unparalleled masterpiece. I will fulfill her wish. For 2 whole weeks, I worked day and night, neglecting sleep and food. I cut the blood amber into thin slices and inlaid them at the spot of Mary's eyes on the canvas, making her gaze truly come alive. I used a special technique to blend the surrounding paint, creating a harmonious transition with the gemstone. From certain angles, the entire painting seemed to be imbued with life, and Mary's expression would shift depending on where the viewer stood. On the day I finished the piece, Frank brought news. Luna had been sentenced to 3 years in prison, but due to her good attitude in confessing, she might serve only 1.5 years. Tom, involved in multiple fraud cases, was sentenced to 7 years. My mother-in-law, as an accomplice, received a suspended sentence. The case is finally over, Frank said. Are you planning to exhibit your painting? Yes. Next month there will be a solo exhibition at the National Art Museum, and The Pursuit will be the grand finale. The curator couldn't stop praising this piece, believing it represents the innovative direction of contemporary art and marks the pinnacle of my career. Indeed, this painting, which incorporates Mary's jewelry design concepts, is in some sense a creation we made together. On the eve of the exhibition, I checked the arrangement in the gallery alone one last time, making sure every piece was perfectly lit and positioned. When I reached The Pursuit, I couldn't help but stop and gaze at it. Mary's face was vividly lifelike, her eyes inlaid with blood amber gleaming under the spotlight, as if she were smiling at me. For the first time in 3 years, I faced her directly, no longer painting only her back. Mr. George, a stranger's voice called from behind. Sorry to disturb you, but the gallery has been cleared. He turned around to see a young woman dressed in the museum's staff uniform. And you are? I'm the new curator, responsible for security in your exhibition area, she explained with a smile. I really like your work, especially this piece, The Pursuit. Thank you. I nodded. I'll be leaving soon. She didn't leave, but continued to gaze at the painting. That red gem is beautiful, almost as if it's alive. It's blood amber, I explained, a very rare gemstone. I know, she said softly, top-grade blood amber from Myanmar, containing plant fossils, extremely rare. I looked at her in surprise. You know a lot about jewelry? She smiled. I study jewelry design. I'm just working part-time here. For some reason, Mary suddenly came to mind. She, too, had an almost obsessive passion for and expertise in gemstones. If you don't mind me asking, who is the woman in this painting? She asked. My wife, I replied. She passed away 3 years ago. She was a jewelry designer. I'm very sorry, she said sincerely, then gestured toward the blood amber. This gem must mean a great deal to you. It was the last birthday gift she chose for me before she died, but I only found it recently. She nodded thoughtfully. Setting it into her portrait is the best way to remember her. For some reason, talking with this unfamiliar woman brought me a strange sense of calm. Perhaps it was her love for jewelry that reminded me of Mary. Sorry, I have to continue my rounds. She glanced at her watch. See you tomorrow, Mr. George. See you tomorrow, I replied, watching her leave. On the way home, I felt an unusual peace. The completion of The Pursuit seemed to mark the end of my search for Mary as well. Not forgetting, but remembering her forever in another way. The next day, the exhibition's opening ceremony attracted numerous figures from the art world and the media. The Pursuit undoubtedly became the center of attention, with people marveling at this innovative form of artistic expression. Amid the crowd, I noticed that curator standing aside, watching as well. Sunlight streamed through the skylight of the gallery, falling upon her, and for a fleeting moment, I thought I saw Mary's shadow. No, I shook my head, warning myself not to be deceived by mere resemblance. There would never be another Mary in this world, just as there would never be another unique blood amber. After the exhibition, the pursuit was purchased by an anonymous collector for an astronomical price. I donated all the proceeds to a foundation supporting students in jewelry design, establishing a scholarship in Mary's name. Life slowly moved forward, and I began to accept new commissions and create new works. Occasionally, I would think of that curator with a unique insight into jewelry, wondering if she was still working at the art museum. Until one day, I received an email from HL. There were no words, only an image. A sketch of a ring design, the style strikingly similar to Mary's unfinished series. My heart raced as I replied immediately. Who is this? The response came quickly. Yesterday, you brushed past me by the cafe on the street corner, but you didn't recognize me. If you want to know more, wait for me at the museum entrance at noon tomorrow. Is it that librarian? How could she have a design so reminiscent of Mary's style? Filled with anxiety and anticipation, I decided to accept the invitation and find out for myself. The next day at noon, I arrived at the art museum half an hour early. The sun was shining, and small groups of visitors were coming and going from the exhibition hall. But there was no sign of the mysterious person. Just as I began to suspect this might be some kind of prank, a faint trace of perfume drifted by, a scent unfamiliar to me, yet it inexplicably reminded me of Mary. Mr. George, thank you for coming. The voice behind me made me turn around. It was the curator. Today, she wasn't wearing her uniform, but a simple white dress, completely different from Mary's style when she was alive. Did you send the email? I asked directly. She nodded. There are some things I want to tell you, but not here. Will you come with me? We walked through the small park beside the art museum and arrived at a secluded cafe. The whole time, I kept observing her. Her mannerisms, the way she walked, none of it resembled Mary. Yet her sensitivity to detail and her focused attention gave me a strange sense of familiarity. Who are you, really? The moment we sat down, I couldn't wait to ask. My name is Nicole. She looked me straight in the eye. I'm Mary's student. This answer caught me off guard. Mary had indeed taught jewelry design part-time at the Design Academy before she passed away, but she had never mentioned having any particularly close students. I took her advanced design class the year before she passed, Nicole explained. Her guidance benefited me for a lifetime. That still doesn't explain why your designs resemble her style so much, I said, half convinced. Nicole took a folder out of her bag. These are all notes from Ms. Nicole's class and her feedback on my work. You can look at the handwriting and confirm that it's really hers. I carefully examined the materials. It was indeed Mary's handwriting. There were even traces of the pale purple ink she habitually used. Before Ms. Nicole passed away, she was guiding me on my graduation project, Nicole continued. The theme was interwoven light and shadow, blending Eastern and Western aesthetic elements. She gave me a lot of valuable advice, and even showed me a sketch from a private project she was working on at the time. George's special birthday project? I blurted out. Nicole's eyes widened in surprise. You know about it? I only found out recently. I briefly explained the origin of the blood amber. I knew that blood amber would eventually find its way back to you, Nicole said with a smile. Nicole always said it was a destined gift. Is that why you contacted me? Because you saw the blood amber? Nicole was silent for a moment, as if choosing her words carefully. Not entirely. After Nicole passed away, I've been trying to carry on the design philosophy she taught me. Some time ago, I happened to see the news about your eternity being stolen, and then I saw someone impersonating Nicole. I thought I should tell you a few things. She took a letter out of her bag. This is the last letter Nicole gave me after class before she passed away. She said if her surprise plan went smoothly, I should show you this letter. If anything went wrong and she was gone, I should still make sure you see it. I took the envelope. It was indeed Mary's handwriting, and it read, "To my dearest husband." The envelope had already been opened. I didn't know what was in the letter at the time. I just kept it as Nicole instructed, Nicole explained. It wasn't until I saw the news that I opened it. I hope you won't blame me. I carefully took out the letter paper and unfolded it to read. Dear George, if you are reading this letter, perhaps my surprise plan has gone awry. Don't worry, it's just that the plan has changed, and the form of the gift may be different now. The blood amber I picked for you is said to be known as the Eye of Rebirth. Legend has it that looking at the world through it reveals truths that are often overlooked. I hope it can become a turning point in your artistic career, leading you to see new possibilities. All these years, your paintings have always depicted backs, as if you're afraid to face something head-on. I hope this gemstone will give you the courage to paint the front, to capture true emotions. No matter what happens, please remember, love does not disappear, it merely changes form, like this blood amber, which, after millions of years, transforms from resin into a gem, yet still shines. Forever loving you, Mary. The handwriting became a bit messy at the end, as if written in a hurry. I stroked the paper, as if I could feel Mary's emotions at that moment. Thank you, I said, my voice choked with emotion. This means a lot to me. You're welcome. I'm just fulfilling Ms. Nicole's request, Nicole said with a smile. Actually, there's one more thing I'd like to ask your help with. What is it? I'd like to apply for the Mary Scholarship you established, she said, taking a design portfolio out of her bag. This is my graduation project, combining Ms. Nicole's ideas with my own innovations. As I flipped through the portfolio, I was surprised to find that while these designs bore traces of Mary's influence, they also possessed a unique style and innovative touches. In particular, a series called Metamorphosis cleverly combined jewelry with transformable elements, allowing the pieces to change form according to the wearer's mood and occasion. This is outstanding, I praised sincerely. Mary would be proud of you. A hint of joy flashed in Nicole's eyes. Really? I've always worried I couldn't live up to her expectations. You've already moved beyond the learning stage and developed your own style. That's exactly what she hoped to see. As we talked, sunlight streamed through the window and fell on Nicole. In that moment, I seemed to understand something. When Mary spoke of love changing its form, perhaps she wasn't just referring to the blood amber, but also to her passion for art and its legacy. Luna tried to impersonate Mary by mimicking her appearance, but she could never truly replicate who she was. Nicole, on the other hand, looked nothing like Mary, yet she inherited a part of her artistic vision and spirit. Perhaps this is the true gift Mary left me, not the blood amber, but a new possibility, a path out of the past. Nicole's graduation exhibition was held in a small gallery. Though the space was modest, it was exquisitely arranged. Her works were divided into 3 series, representing the past, the present, and the future, forming a complete narrative. This is a brilliant idea, I sincerely praised. From tradition to contemporary and then to the future, it showcases the evolution and possibilities of jewelry design. Nicole smiled and nodded. This was inspired by teacher Nicole. She always says that good design should look back at history, be grounded in the present, and look forward to the future. As I walked through the exhibition hall, I noticed a special display case in the corner, containing only one piece, a seemingly simple ring with a small red gemstone set in the center. This is. I leaned in to read the label, which said, in memory, dedicated to teacher Mary. Yes, I made it from a small piece of blood amber I bought with my own savings, Nicole explained. It can't compare to the quality of yours, but it's also from Myanmar. I examined the design of the ring closely. Clean, powerful lines, with fine silver threads encircling the blood amber, as if protecting the central gem, yet also seeming to radiate light outward. This is very similar to Mary's final design style, I said softly, but it also has your own unique touch. I wanted to create a piece that could both commemorate teacher Nicole and showcase my own style, Nicole explained. The blood amber represents her influence, while the outer design is the direction of my own development. The exhibition attracted quite a few industry insiders, including some well-known figures from the jewelry design world. After viewing the exhibition, an older female designer approached Nicole and offered her an internship opportunity. I stood by, genuinely happy for Nicole. In the evening, as the exhibition was drawing to a close, Frank arrived as well. Seeing me with Nicole, he gave me a knowing smile. New friend? He asked me quietly. Mary's student, I explained simply. Very talented. Frank nodded without asking further questions. After touring the exhibition, he gave high praise to Nicole's work. It blends traditional and modern elements, demonstrating both technical skill and artistic expression, quite rare. Nicole thanked him politely. This wouldn't have been possible without the guidance of teacher Nicole and teacher George. After the exhibition, the 3 of us went to a nearby restaurant for dinner. During the meal, Frank talked about recent trends in the art market, while Nicole shared her insights on contemporary jewelry design. The conversation was light and pleasant, and I realized it had been a long time since I had relaxed and chatted with others like this. After a few rounds of drinks, Frank received an urgent call and left early. Only Nicole and I remained in the restaurant, and the atmosphere suddenly became a bit quiet. Mr. George, Nicole hesitated for a moment before speaking. I've always had a question I wanted to ask you. What is it? After you finished the pursuit, what are you planning to create next? The question caught me off guard. To be honest, ever since the pursuit, I haven't had any new inspiration. That painting seemed to have drained all my emotions and creativity. I haven't decided yet, I answered honestly. It might take some time to find a new direction. Nicole nodded thoughtfully. Nicole once said that the hardest thing for an artist isn't creating a stunning masterpiece, but finding a way forward after reaching the peak. She really did say that, I recalled with a smile. Mary always saw further than I did. Maybe, Nicole said softly, you could try a new direction that combines your work with jewelry design? Like in The Pursuit, but taking it even further. I recalled what Mary mentioned in her letter about seeing new possibilities, and suddenly I was inspired. You mean, creating a series of works that combine painting and jewelry? Exactly. Nicole said excitedly, your paintings create emotion in two-dimensional space, while jewelry gives it tangible form in the three-dimensional world. The combination of the two would have an astonishing effect. The more we talked, the more engaged we became, even sketching a few concept designs on the restaurant's napkins. Nicole's ideas were fresh and bold, perfectly aligning with my artistic vision, yet bringing a new perspective. As we left the restaurant, Nicole suddenly said, I have to confess something. I looked at her in confusion. I reached out to you not only to deliver Nicole's letter, but also for a personal reason. I hope to learn from you, she said candidly. I want to become a designer like Nicole, someone who not only creates beautiful works but also perfectly blends art with emotion. Her sincerity moved me. You're already on that path, and you're doing very well. Then, may I consult you often? She asked a little nervously. Of course, I'd be delighted. On the way home, a series of new works already began to take shape in my mind. A cross-disciplinary art that fuses painting and jewelry, both as a tribute to Mary and as a new starting point in my artistic career. That night, I had a dream. In the dream, Mary stood in a halo of blood-red light, smiling at me and saying, see, I knew you would find a new direction. When I woke up, I got out of bed immediately and began sketching for the new series. I decided to name it Rebirth. Not only representing the ancient life forever preserved in blood amber, but also symbolizing the rebirth of my artistic career, as well as the inheritance and development of Mary's artistic vision. A week later, I submitted a new series proposal to the gallery and received an enthusiastic response. The curator even suggested holding a special exhibition themed Between Dimensions, a dialogue between painting and jewelry. For this project, I invited Nicole to join the team as a jewelry design consultant. She had just graduated from design school and was both excited and nervous about the opportunity. Am I really up to the task? She asked me in the studio. You understand Mary's design philosophy better than anyone, I assured her. That's exactly what I need. In the days that followed, we worked at a feverish pace. We created during the day and discussed at night, sometimes even working through until dawn. Nicole's ideas flowed endlessly, and I transformed those thoughts into concrete artistic expressions. In the process, I rediscovered the pure joy of creation that I hadn't felt in a long time. One late night, when we finally finished the design for our first piece, Nicole clapped her hands excitedly. This is amazing. Teacher Nicole will definitely love it. At the mention of Mary, she suddenly realized her slip and looked at me nervously. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It's all right, I said with a smile. I think Mary really would like it. She always hoped I could step out of my comfort zone and try new ways of expressing myself. Nicole let out a sigh of relief, then hesitantly asked, Professor George, may I ask you a personal question? What is it? When you faced the woman impersonating Professor Nicole, how did you see through her? I mean, from the news reports, she seemed like an exact copy of Professor Nicole. I pondered for a moment. Superficial resemblance is easy to achieve, but a true personality cannot be duplicated. Mary's perception of art, her attitude toward life, the way she handled details, these were all unique. Just like a work of art, Nicole mused, no matter how perfect a replica is, it can never capture the soul of the original. Exactly. We worked through the night again, and finally established the overall framework for the Rebirth series. 7 pieces, each blending elements of painting and jewelry, together telling a story of loss and recovery, death and rebirth. As our collaboration deepened, my relationship with Nicole gradually shifted from teacher and student to partners, both mentor and friend. Sometimes, when the light traced the gentle contours of her focused profile, I would unconsciously think of Mary. But soon, I realized that this association wasn't due to any physical resemblance, but rather that same dedication and passion for art. "George, you look much more spirited lately," Frank remarked at a gathering. "It's been a while since I've seen you so full of life." "Yeah, the new project has helped me rediscover the joy of creating." "Nicole's a good girl," Frank said meaningfully. "Talented, and she really understands you." I understood his implication, but just smiled without responding. There was indeed a special understanding between Nicole and me, but it was more rooted in our shared passion for art than anything else. At least for now. The creation of the Rebirth series took 3 months, longer than expected, but the results were stunning. Each piece was a perfect fusion of painting and jewelry art, offering both the pleasure of viewing as a flat image and the discovery of 3-dimensional effects brought by the jewelry elements from different angles. A week before the exhibition opened, I received an unexpected visitor, Luna. She had served her sentence and was released early. She looked much more haggard than the last time we met, but her eyes were clearer. "I came to apologize to you in person." She stood at the studio door, her voice low, "for everything I have done." I didn't respond immediately, but simply invited her in to sit down. "I know that an apology can't make up for the loss," she continued, "but I want you to know that I truly regret it." "How is your sister's illness?" I asked. She looked up in surprise. You know. I guessed. "You said you needed money for a reason, and I think that must have been true." "Yes," she nodded. "My sister's surgery was a success, and now she's fully recovered. For the past 3 years, I've been thinking about how to make up for my mistakes, even though I may never be able to." I was silent for a moment, then said, "You know, in a way, your appearance actually helped me." "What do you mean?" "It forced me to confront the past, to re-examine my memories with Mary, and ultimately to find a way forward." I pointed to the sketches of the Rebirth series on the wall and briefly explained this new project. Luna listened quietly, a look of genuine respect in her eyes. "I'm glad you were able to find a new beginning from that nightmare," she said at last. "I hope I can find my own path to rebirth as well." As she left, she handed me a small package. "These are some simple pieces of jewelry I made in prison. The craftsmanship is rough, but each one represents my remorse and blessings. I hope you can accept them." Opening the package, I found several small trinkets handmade from fine wire and colorful glass beads. Though simple, it was clear the creator had poured their heart into them. Nicole happened to come into the studio at that moment. Seeing the trinkets, she asked curiously, "What are these?" I told her about Luna's visit. "You forgave her?" Nicole was a bit surprised. "Not exactly forgiveness," I said thoughtfully. "It's more like understanding. Everyone has their own hardships and choices. What's important is how we learn and grow from our mistakes." Nicole nodded pensively, picking up a piece of jewelry to examine it closely. "The craftsmanship is rough, but the concept is ingenious. This person seems to have a talent for design." "Perhaps," I said. "Everyone has the possibility of being reborn." On the day of the exhibition opening, numerous figures from the art and jewelry worlds gathered together. The Rebirth series received unprecedented acclaim. Critics called it a model of cross-disciplinary art, and the gallery owner was overjoyed, announcing plans for a nationwide tour. In the crowd, I saw Luna. She was dressed simply, standing quietly in a corner, admiring the exhibits. Our eyes met in the air. She nodded slightly, then walked away. "Who was that?" Nicole asked, standing beside me. "Someone searching for rebirth," I replied. Nicole seemed to understand and asked no more. We stood side by side before the pursuit, watching the blood amber refract a strange light under the lamps, like the silent burning of life's flame. "Thank you," I whispered to Nicole. "Without you, this series might never have come into being." "It was your philosophy that guided us, Teacher Nicole," she replied modestly. "I was just fortunate enough to be the messenger." In that moment, I suddenly understood the true meaning of what Mary had written in her letter. Love has changed its form. Love exists not only in memory and longing, but also in inheritance and innovation, shining brightly in every spark of artistic creation. And I, at last, had learned how to begin anew after loss, to embrace rebirth while still searching. The success of the exhibition exceeded everyone's expectations. In just 1 month, the Rebirth series was reported on by major media outlets and even attracted the attention of the international art world. A renowned auction house extended an olive branch to me, hoping to include several pieces in their annual highlight auction. "This is an unprecedented opportunity," Frank said excitedly. "If the deal goes through, you'll become a top player in the contemporary art market." I wasn't particularly concerned with commercial success, but I did feel the joy of having my work widely recognized. More importantly, this series opened up a new artistic path for me, freeing me from the creative shackles of the past 3 years. Nicole benefited as well. As the project's jewelry design consultant, she received high praise from the industry. Several well-known jewelry brands reached out to her, hoping she would join their design teams. "Which offer are you planning to accept?" One night, as we were tidying up the studio together, I asked her. "To be honest, I'm still hesitating." Nicole paused her work. "These are all great opportunities, but what? But I want to keep working with you." She looked straight into my eyes. "Rebirth is just the beginning, isn't it?" Her candor surprised me a little. Indeed, the success of this series had opened up many new creative possibilities for us, but I wasn't sure if I should continue such a close working relationship. "You should consider your own career development," I said tactfully. "These opportunities are very rare for young designers." Nicole seemed to sense my hesitation and nodded gently. "I understand." In the days that followed, we were both busy and rarely had the chance to talk alone. A week later, Nicole told me she had decided to accept an invitation from a French jewelry brand and would be going to Paris to work for 2 years. "Congratulations," I said sincerely. "It's a very good choice." "Thank you," she replied with a smile, though a fleeting, elusive emotion flashed in her eyes. "I think this is the best arrangement for both of us." Before Nicole left, we held a small farewell party. Frank, the curator, and a few mutual friends came. The atmosphere was warm, tinged with a hint of sadness. After a few rounds of drinks, Frank found an opportunity to pull me aside. "Are you really going to just let her go like this?" "What do you mean?" I pretended not to understand. "Don't play dumb, man," Frank said bluntly. "You have feelings for her. That's obvious." "That's just professional rapport," I argued. "Is that so?" Frank looked at me meaningfully. "Then why have you been so distracted ever since she decided to go to France?" I was at a loss for words. In fact, these past few days I had indeed felt an inexplicable sense of loss, but I kept telling myself it was only because I had lost an excellent partner. "I know what you're worried about." Frank lowered his voice. "You feel like you're letting Mary down, don't you?" I remained silent. He had touched upon the deepest concern in my heart. "Mary has been gone for 3 years now." Frank gently patted my shoulder. "She would want you to be happy." After the party ended, I walked Nicole home. The night was tranquil as water, and the city lights flowed around us. "Thank you for your help and guidance these past few months." Nicole stopped at the entrance of her apartment building. "This experience has meant so much to me." "I should be thanking you," I said sincerely. "Without you, the Rebirth series would never have been completed." We fell into silence, as if both searching for the right words to say goodbye. "My flight is the morning after tomorrow," Nicole finally said. "I still have some things to take care of tomorrow. So, this is probably the last time we'll see each other." 2 years will pass quickly. I tried to make my voice sound light. "Paris is a beautiful city. You'll like it there." She nodded, a complex emotion flickering in her eyes. "Professor George, there's something I've always wanted to tell you, but never found the right opportunity." "What is it?" "I chose to study jewelry design because I saw Nicole's works." She took a deep breath, or more precisely, because I saw the pieces Nicole designed for you. The way she perfectly fused love and art moved me deeply. "I didn't know that," I said in surprise. "I've always hoped that one day I could be like Nicole, creating art filled with emotion." Nicole continued, her words coming faster, as if afraid she might lose her courage. "But now I realize that what I want even more is to create for a specific person, just like Nicole created for you." I understood her implication, and my heart suddenly began to race. Nicole, please don't respond. She gently interrupted me. I just wanted you to know before I leave. No matter how you feel right now, remember that starting over is not a betrayal of the past, but a way of cherishing life. With that, she rose up on her tiptoes and softly kissed my cheek, then quickly turned and walked into the apartment building, leaving me standing alone in the night, my mind in turmoil. After returning home, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep, replaying Nicole's words and that gentle kiss over and over in my mind. Suddenly, I remembered a small box in the study, where Mary's last complete letter was kept, a letter I had found while sorting through her belongings. But at the time, overwhelmed by grief, I never had the courage to open. Now, I finally mustered the courage to walk into the study and retrieve that delicate little box from the depths of the drawer. Inside lay a pale pink letter, bearing Mary's familiar handwriting. Dearest George, by the time you read this letter, you may find yourself at a crossroads in life, hesitating between moving forward or staying where you are. My greatest wish is that you can move bravely through life, as freely as your brush glides across the canvas. Love is not a shackle, but a liberation. Memory is not a burden, but a source of strength. If one day you meet someone who can rekindle the light in your eyes, please don't hesitate because of your longing for me. True love is wishing happiness for the other, even if there is no longer a place for oneself in that happiness. Remember, the days we loved each other were complete, with no need for regrets. And now, it's time to paint a new picture, my beloved. Forever loving you. Mary. Tears blurred my vision. It was as if Mary had foreseen my current situation and had already given me her blessing. She was always like this, always able to see further and more clearly than I could. At that moment, I made up my mind. Early the next morning, I drove straight to Nicole's apartment. Professor George? Nicole opened the door in surprise, clearly not expecting me. I have something to say to you. I looked her straight in the eyes, not as your teacher, but as George. I handed her Mary's letter. Nicole read it carefully, her expression shifting from surprise to being moved, and finally, her eyes grew moist. She truly was an extraordinary woman, Nicole said softly, handing the letter back to me. Yes, she was. I nodded. That's exactly why I believe her words. Nicole, cancel your plans for Paris. Stay and continue our collaboration, will you? Nicole looked at me in shock. Are you serious? I've never been more serious, I said quietly. Rebirth is not just the name of an artwork, it's a possibility in life. Are you willing to explore that possibility with me? Her answer was a firm embrace, warm and real, like the first ray of sunlight after a long winter. In that moment, I felt as if Mary was somewhere, smiling down on us, blessing this new beginning. Life is like that blood amber, enduring countless ages of change and sedimentation, ultimately transforming into an eternal radiance. And I, at last, understood what true pursuit is, what true rebirth means. A year later, Nicole and I unveiled our second joint project, Interwoven, at the National Art Museum. This series was even bolder and more innovative than Rebirth, blending Eastern and Western aesthetics with various art forms. Critics hailed it as a significant breakthrough in contemporary art. At the opening ceremony, Nicole held my arm as we faced the media interviews and congratulations from the audience together. She wore a simple white dress, and around her neck was the Eye of Rebirth necklace we designed together. She completed the jewelry part based on my painting. Your collaboration seems even more in sync than your last project, a reporter asked with a suggestive smile. Nicole glanced at me, and we exchanged a smile. Yes, both in art and in life, we found the perfect balance. This indirect answer drew a round of good-natured laughter from the reporters present. My relationship with Nicole was no longer a secret, but we always kept a low profile, letting the public's attention remain focused on our artistic creations. After the exhibition, we drove out to a small hill in the countryside. There stood an ancient oak tree, beneath which Mary's ashes were laid to rest. This was the place we chose, rather than a traditional cemetery, natural, peaceful, just like Mary herself. Mary, the exhibition was a great success today, I said softly to the stone beneath the tree. Nicole's designs were admired by everyone, just as you once predicted. Nicole crouched down and placed a bouquet of white daisies in front of the stone. Teacher Nicole, I've been working hard to become the kind of designer you hoped I would be. I hope you can be proud of me. A gentle breeze stirred, and the oak's leaves rustled softly, as if it were Mary's reply. On the way back, Nicole suddenly said, I've been thinking about something. What is it? If that woman who pretended to be Ms. Nicole hadn't appeared, You might never have found the blood amber, never created the pursuit, and we might never have met. Her words made me fall into deep thought. Indeed, it was the series of events triggered by that deception that ultimately led to everything now. It feels as if, in the unseen, some force has been orchestrating it all. Perhaps that's the irony of fate, I said softly. Sometimes, the worst beginnings can lead us to the best endings. When I returned home, I received an unexpected package. Upon opening it, I found a delicate little box containing a handmade ring. Though simple, the craftsmanship had improved greatly compared to the pieces I had seen before. There was a note attached. Mr. George, thank you for your kindness and understanding a year ago, which gave me the courage to start over. Now I have found a job at a small jewelry shop, and my life is gradually getting back on track. This ring represents my gratitude, and I wish you happiness and well-being on your new path. Luna, I handed the ring to Nicole. After examining it carefully, she remarked, her skills have improved a lot. She truly is talent. Some mistakes in life shouldn't become permanent scars, I sighed. Everyone deserves a second chance. That night, we sat in the studio, discussing ideas for the next series. Nicole suddenly proposed a bold idea. I was thinking, maybe we could try connecting the different stages of our work to create a complete narrative. From eternity to quest, then to rebirth, and intertwined, they're actually different phases in a person's life journey. You mean? A complete story about loss, searching, rebirth, and integration, she explained excitedly, ultimately asking what is the most precious treasure in life. Love. I finished her sentence. No matter what form it takes. Nicole nodded, her eyes sparkling with creative fire. We could call it the forms of love, an unprecedented artistic exploration. Sounds like a long-term, ambitious project. We have time, she smiled, holding my hand. We have so much time. In that moment, I felt a powerful surge of creative inspiration, just like when I first began my artistic career years ago, filled with passion and possibility. But this time, I was not facing the blank canvas alone. 2 years later, the Forms of Love series was exhibited simultaneously in the world's 5 greatest art museums, causing an unprecedented sensation. Critics called it a milestone in contemporary art history, blending painting, sculpture, jewelry design, and other art forms to create an entirely new artistic language. The final piece of the exhibition was titled Eternal Ring, a massive circular canvas depicting every form of love in life, familial, platonic, romantic, and the love for art itself. The edge of the canvas was inlaid with gemstones of various sizes, and under certain lighting, these gems would cast light onto specific parts of the canvas, revealing another hidden layer of patterns. The centerpiece of this work is a massive blood amber. Through intricate optical design, the light it projects perfectly outlines 2 embracing figures. One is Mary, the other is Nicole, symbolizing the intersection of past and present, the fusion of memory and rebirth. On the closing day of the exhibition, in front of the Eternal Ring, I knelt on one knee and proposed to Nicole. The ring was crafted from the very blood amber Mary had once prepared for me, designed by my own hand and fashioned by the finest jeweler. This ring carries the memories of the past and the hopes for the future, I whispered softly. Nicole, will you be the eternal ring in my life? Her tears sparkled under the spotlight. I will. Amidst the cheers, I remembered what Mary once said. Love does not disappear. It merely changes its form. Yes, love does not disappear. It exists in memories, in art, in every rebirth and new beginning. It traverses time and crosses space, like that blood amber which, after millions of years, still shines, forever retaining the original warmth and brilliance of life. This is the answer I have been searching for all along. Between loss and gain, between seeking and rebirth, love remains constant, only appearing in different forms along the journey of life. And all we need to do is bravely accept this gift, no matter how it comes to us. On the day of the wedding, the sky was a clear, washed blue. Beneath the ancient oak tree that had watched over Mary, we exchanged our vows. A gentle breeze stirred, making the leaves whisper as if blessings were drifting in from another world. No matter when or where, Nicole said softly, We'll always remember that it was she who brought us together. Yes, I squeezed her hand, and we will always cherish this gift. In the brilliant sunlight, the blood amber ring gleamed, radiant as life itself, enduring the passage of time, yet still shining bright.